morning, or whatever time it is you wind up watching this, folks. So I've been putting off doing this video because I couldn't figure out how to do it, so I'm just gonna do it. So here's what I'm looking for from you guys, and most of you I have stuff from. I want to know what topic you're doing, and so again, for most of you guys, I do. Then I want a couple of paragraphs, couple of pages explanation of why you want to do it. I told Will the short version of this is your reasoning for why anyone should care, why we should be interested in this. Then, once you do that, you're gonna see what other people have said or written about the work that you're looking at. The traditional term for this is called a review of literature. So you figure out what other people have said, and ideally you're going to say something better or different than the folks that you've done, that you're looking at, and you're going to keep track of that and write up a annotated bibliography. So for each entry in your list of references, you'll put a couple of sentences, what's good, bad, how you might plan to use this. Oh look, it's a dog. And write that up, and hopefully you'll be able to use that in whatever form your project takes. Don't turn that way because you guys will go in the sun. Then I want you to pick a theoretical approach that makes sense for studying whatever you're studying, and explain couple of paragraphs, couple of pages, why you're going to use that theoretical approach for whatever it is you're choosing to study. You can write these up loosely and email them to me. Eventually they would, need to be prettied up at some point, but a loose form would work. And then it's time to start thinking about what the big project would be. And it's going to be, you've researched you've read your subject material, you've researched stuff about it, you've filtered it through whatever theoretical approach you're going to go through, and then you come up with something. And if that sounds vague, it is vague because I don't know what it is, and you guys might not know either. And there's a little bit of a stressor in not knowing. And that's where the theoretical approach comes in, and where the research stuff comes in. It's like you do your review of literature, you figure out what people have said, and you could either go, yeah, this is what they said, it makes sense. You use whatever theory you're using to confirm that. Or, a little more interestingly, you discover something that people haven't looked at, and you look at it. This is really dangerous. So, for instance, as some of you guys know, I have been studying Hawthorne for years, and there's a whole bunch of stuff, but I'll try to keep it simple for this purpose. So I discovered that is a squirrel with a death wish. I discovered that, well, it's not that I discovered, it's just that in 1832, something known as the Standing Order disappeared in Massachusetts. And what the Standing Order was taxpayer support for ministers. Yeah, you heard that right. Church and state were sort of kind of not really separated in Massachusetts until 1832. The modern public school system, part of the reason it was funded was because people were freaking out that there wouldn't be public control of education anymore. And so once they got rid of supporting the ministers, and in the 1780 Massachusetts Constitution, they were called public teachers of the truth, well, they turned into public schools. Now, what does this have to do with Hawthorne is a good question that no one has really bothered to ever ask. He establishes his career as a public figure during the 1830s. He tried to write children's school books specifically a history of Massachusetts. And the person, as it turns out, the person who's most responsible for starting the public school system in Massachusetts, Horace Mann, was Hawthorne's brother-in-law. And Hawthorne's brother-in-law did not accept Hawthorne's history book called Grandfather's Chair because Horace Mann didn't think it was serious enough. Hawthorne scholars have not taken any of this stuff really seriously, and I think they should. So what I would do if I were taking this class is I would dive through all of the stuff that's been written about Grandfather's Chair. I'd try to find out as much stuff about the interactions between Mann and Hawthorne and the various other players who were involved in that, and write up the results. Now, I'm not sure what the theoretical approach would be in this example. I'd have to pick and choose which one I think would make the most sense. I think it would involve some type of sociological approach. I don't really think psychology would fit in here. And so this is coming up on 6.5-minute video, so I'll recap. Pick a subject. It can be almost anything. Review what's been written about that subject. If you need help, if you need refreshers about how to do that sort of research, contact me. We'll figure it out. Then write up what you come up with. If you have questions, contact me. We've been kind of we've been kind of away from each other for a while. I will put stuff up on Teams. I might even put a whole bunch of stuff of my OneNote stuff up so you can see how I've done some of these things. And we can work through Teams, we can work through email, we can work through OneNote, but it's time to start doing stuff. So, it's a really cool sunshine and everything out here. So I hope you guys are having a good day, since it's starting. And I'll talk to you guys in some form or another here pretty soon. Bye-bye.